And good morning. It's July 7th and another Wednesday. And you see, not in my office. I'm visiting my sister Christine in Arizona and in Scottsdale. And here I am ready to give a few words, hopefully positive words for us back home in Tampa. Thought began with me since flying out. Going to the airport on the 5th, and flying out here, really the goodness and the kindness of so many people. It seems the only thing we hear on news is about the craziness going on in the world around us, and continue man's inhumanity to man. And I thought maybe a little story might kind of give us hope a little bit, that there are many good things going on out there. We just need to open our eyes a little bit and see, and be interested enough not in reading about the hatred and the bias and the bigotry and all the other things going on out there that show man's inhumanity to man, but really reflect a little bit on the goodness that's innate in so many people, in most people, I think, in the world around us. We just need to take the time to stop and notice it. I was reading the other day about a story from Oklahoma, and it was about a young man called Dante Franklin. And here's someone who really wanted to work, and so he would walk 8 miles, a little more than 8 miles, more than 8 miles, one way to his job as a cook at a hot wings place in Oklahoma. And then at the end of his workday, he would walk the 8.5 miles or more back home again, and because he had no other transportation. He was 20 years old and had no other means of transportation. Well, he'd been doing this, and one day there was a woman happened to see him on his journey and decided to ask him if he wanted a ride, and he did, and she got to meet him. And anyway, she was working with a group that would anything from Oklahoma, they would jump on it, and any need that came up, and they try and see if they could help. Well, they got together and they ended up getting him a bicycle. You know, this group got him a bicycle to make his journey easier, a brand new bicycle. And you think that would be the end of it. She passed her story on, and it reached another group in Oklahoma where decided that he needed more than a bicycle, so they got together and they started a fund to get him a car. And they did, until to this day, they raised about $52,000 for a vehicle for him. Now, he doesn't even have a driver's license yet, but it's the next thing on the horizon. It just shows, you know, when there's a need, people often respond to a need if it's presented to them, especially if it's someone who's doing their best to get along, doing their best to make better for themselves and their family. Here's a 20-year-old guy that I think certainly would impress most of us, if not all of us. And I think it's a sign also of when the need became apparent, boom, people jumped into the breach. And people will do that. We are called to do that. And hopefully we will respond. And we have responded. We're just not looking at that as a response to grace in our life. My prayer for us as we think about this season that we're in, of still fear and worry and anxiety and sickness still, and doubt and anger and frustration and loss and all those other negative things, we need to see with eyes of faith. We need to hear with ears of faith, and we need to be able to open our hearts, to be a heart that's open to faith. You'll hear me say this so very often, but it's a message that needs to be said and needs to be repeated until it strikes home, and until it's something that we decide to do, not just today, but every day of our life. We make it part of who we are. Someone looking to do good, someone looking to make a difference, someone looking to change someone else's life and make someone else's life better, because we are determined to become a part of it. I've said this message constantly and might say, hey, I think I heard you say that before. Yeah, I have. Multiple times, many times. And you look around and you see stories where people are doing this, continually, not just isolated stories, but one story after another story of the elderly group in, I forget what's, I think it's in Washington, the state of Washington, decided that they weren't going to let this COVID thing get them down, that they're going to see it as an opportunity. They want to live life while they still can. And so they're reaching out and helping others. They're inviting people to, they're having games in the hallways of their nursing homes, and they're doing whatever they can to make life better for the people around them. You know, or the children who are, as I said, refused to get down, and they started a slush stand, what do they call it, a snow cone stand, and a lemonade stand. That's what I was thinking about. And they raised, before COVID, they were raising $300. They raised $300. But when COVID hit, everything was shut down. But they refused to let that get them down. They refused to stay down, the human spirit. And they used the money they have to make a difference in some people's local lives. There are groups that are raising food for the hungry. You know, seeing all the street people in their area, and boy, do we have a lot of street people in our area, where we live, you know. And here they are raising food to distribute to them. I think of our outreach program. It's small, and it's only once a month. But if we had more people and we had more food, we could maybe expand that to another. Maybe just instead of just 1 week a month, to 2 weekends a month. We could be able to make a difference. And as I said, it's not just doing for others for the sake of doing for them. It is responding to the grace of God that's telling us, that's calling us, that's impressing us and compelling us to do for others. It's what our faith calls us to do. And it's what I think our human nature, with our DNA, innately, if we respond to it, is encouraging us and really telling us, move here, go here, do this. It's God speaking within us. Let's respond to that grace. Let's not refuse to allow circumstances to dictate how we live and how we shut ourselves down and close ourselves off, but rather how we are still connected one to another, always and ever. And in doing so, as we reach out to others, we help build His kingdom today as we prepare a place for ourselves in the kingdom yet to come. God bless us all. God love you all. Mary, help of Christians, pray for us. Mary, help of Christians, pray for you.